Company culture is one of the most important aspects of any business, but it's often overlooked. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a company culture that values empathy and makes your employees happy and more productive. Hey all, it's Rico, and I want to talk to you about something that's very important: company culture. A lot of people think that company culture doesn't matter, but trust me, it does. Today, I'm going to show you how to create that company culture that does value empathy and will make your employees happy. And we all know that happy employees are productive employees. So these are the 8 steps that we'll go through today. Define company values, encourage employees to be themselves, celebrate diversity and inclusion, promote empathy in the workplace, train employees on how to deal with difficult conversations, lead by example, hold team meetings regularly, and give employees time off to recharge. So the first step is to define your company values. In order to create a strong company culture, you need to start with a clear definition of your values. What is important to the organization? What do you stand for? What does good look like? Once you have a good understanding of your core values, you need to find ways to infuse them into every aspect of your company culture. This means communicating them clearly to your employees and making sure that they're reflected in all of your policies and procedures. And once you do that, you have to repeat it over and over and over again so people can really internalize these values. It also means creating opportunities for employees to live and breathe your values on a daily basis. It's good to talk about when the values show up, and it's good to talk about when they don't show up. When everyone is aligned to your company's values, you create a really strong sense of community and purpose that can be a great foundation for the organization. The second step is encourage employees to be themselves. As the workforce becomes more globalized, it's important more than ever to encourage employees to be themselves and for companies to meet employees where they are. Diversity is what makes our world interesting, and culture is what makes all of us unique. When people are encouraged to be themselves, they feel more comfortable and more likely to be productive and put themselves fully into their work. And by doing that, they're also more likely to come up with more innovative ideas and more solutions because they have different perspectives that come from different cultures and diversity and backgrounds. So if you want your company to be successful, start by creating a culture that celebrates diversity and individualism within the collective. You might just end up with a better product or service because of it. Number 3 goes with number 2, but to celebrate diversity and inclusion. Culture sometimes seems like a static and unchanging entity, but in reality, it's ever evolving. As the world becomes more connected, we're exposed to new ideas, new ways of life, new perspectives. This can be a great source of strength and richness, but it can also lead to tension and conflict. The key to celebrating diversity and inclusion is to understand that culture is not a fixed thing. It's not static. It's always changing. We should strive to learn about other cultures, other traditions, and just other ways of thinking to open up our own perspectives. Only by seeking to understand and meeting people where they are and respecting each other, that's how we can create a world that's truly inclusive. Number 4 is promote empathy in the workplace. In order to do this, employers should encourage their employees to participate in cultural activities that are going on within the company or even outside the company. By exposing everyone to different cultures, they'll be more likely to appreciate perspective of others. An example is during an all hands, it might be good for a certain culture to present how this culture shows up and perspectives and what are the things that are behind that culture. It just adds to the richness of understanding for the rest of the business. It also provides a much needed break from the everyday grind. We're always talking about numbers and metrics and all these things. Learning about the cultures that make up the organization is a good way to, 1, get to know each other, 2, have fun, and 3, break up the monotony. So if you do want to promote empathy in the workplace, start by bringing culture more into the business. Number 5 is important, but also difficult, but training employees on how to deal with difficult conversations. Most people dread difficult conversations, whether it's telling a friend that, their new haircut is okay, it'll grow back, or, having the talk with their partner. Not many people I know enjoy conflict, at least that kind of conflict. But understanding how to navigate those situations are very important in life. For example, in the workplace, it could mean the difference between a project being successful or not. If the engineer and the designer can't have that difficult conversation about where the project is going, you may end up with a bad product in the end. By teaching your organization how to actively listen and diffuse tense situations, that is a great way for everyone to know how to move a project forward in a positive way. It'll show them how to stay calm under pressure. It'll show them how to understand perspective, seek to understand, and it'll tell them how to meet in the middle. And it doesn't mean you design by committee or design by compromise, but a way that you can talk through things together so you can either agree or disagree and commit. But trust me, investing in these skills in your employees are going to pay dividends in the long run for sure. Number 6 is an easy one, just leading by example. If you want people to do what you say and not do what you do, you actually need to lead by example. Don't do the bad things. It means setting a good example for your own life and career before you start coaching and telling others about theirs. It's really the only way to earn respect and trust from the people around you. It's much like when I'm in the office, I'll pick up the trash if I see it on the ground because I would expect everyone else to do it. I'm modeling the behavior and showing how much I care about the business that I'm willing to pick up the trash and throw it in the garbage because I'm not above anything. I will do anything for the organization and the people around me. And it's not only in my actions, it's also in my words. So the words that I use and the language and the way I communicate, people will absorb that and see that. So I have to model the communication style and language I want everyone else to use. It really is one of the best ways to build culture is to show everyone and model what it looks like. Number 7 is a no-brainer. It's holding team meetings regularly, and it's just an essential part of team success. Meeting regularly keeps everybody aligned on what the business is doing. It's a way to cascade information that is coming down from different parts of the business. It also helps everyone align around the right goals. So if we're focused on one thing for the year, we need to make sure that all of us are doing the things within our roles that all ladder up into that singular goal. It also gives an opportunity for team members to debate, to ask questions, to participate in deeper discussion around what the company and the team should be doing. But not all meetings are created equal. You do have to have a strong agenda, keep it focused, make sure that everyone's allowed to participate, and that you have action items at the end. I have another video on how to run effective meetings that you can click on right here. But yeah, it's important to have them to make sure everyone stays aligned, but make sure you have effective meetings. Please don't have boring meetings that could have been emails. And last but not least, giving employees time off to recharge. One of the things I look for, even though I don't take hundreds of days off in a year, is I look for companies that have unlimited PTO. And the reason why I do that is because they are making a concerted effort in the mental health of their employees. Not always, but this is a theme that I've seen. The last 2 places I've worked had the same policy. And because the cultures were strong, the policies didn't get abused. I wouldn't take like 6 weeks off at a time or 10 weeks off at a time, right? The only times I took time like that off was like 6 weeks for my daughter, and then I took like 8 weeks for when my son was born. But we had an unlimited PTO policy. It's all within what you feel is right and what you're comfortable with. But giving that ability to everyone to take the time that they need to recharge, it's not only good for their mental health, but it's also looks good for the business and sets a good example for other companies on what good looks like. And part of this is, as leaders, you need to take time off also. So telling everyone to take a week off, but you haven't taken a week off in 5 years, that's not going to fly. Remember the modeling, lead by example? You have to take advantage of time off so you can recharge also. And it's been proven time and time again, when you're allowed to take time off and you really relax, you come back less stressed, more energy, different ideas. There's just like a new reinvigoration when you come back after some relaxing time off. And we can help you live longer too. And no one ever says on their deathbed they wish they worked more. So there you have it. Creating a company culture that values empathy is not an easy task, but hopefully with these 8 tips that I gave you, you can start to incorporate them and build the culture that's really going to improve the happiness, the satisfaction, and productivity of your employees. And happy employees alone is not the metric that you're going after, because that could be wrong. You just like want to make everybody happy. No, really what you want to do is create a culture where people are engaged, they are happy with their work, and they're very productive and they just enjoy being around each other. So that is more what culture is. It's not just making employees happy. It's more than that. So hopefully you can deploy these 8 tips. Let me know in the comments below if any of them work for you. If you have any other suggestions, give it a thumbs up. And if you want more of this content, subscribe to the channel. 85% of you are not subscribed, so hopefully this will compel you. And as always, I will see you next time.